Welcome back, everybody. My name is Rich Curtis with eXp Realty. And on this video, we're going to be talking about 12 things that you parents should know before moving to El Dorado County. Now look, I'm a parent as well. One of the reasons we stayed in El Dorado County is to raise our kids in this amazing place. But I know how stressful it is to move, and that stress is orders of magnitude higher when there are children involved. You're worried about making a new community. You're worried about your kids making new friends. You have to pick schools, daycares, pediatricians, find places to go, things to do. It is an overwhelming task to think about moving your kids to a new place. So the point of this video is that by the end of it, you're gonna know everything you need to know to bring your children to El Dorado County, to get started with feet on the ground right away and establishing all of those pieces and the whole team you need to take care of your children here right off the bat and minimize the stress. You're also gonna be able to evaluate, based on what I'm telling you about this community, is this a place you want to relocate with your kids? El Dorado County is not for everybody. No place is for everybody. So this gives you a chance to sit there on your couch, in your car, in the office, and evaluate El Dorado County without having to get out here for yourself just yet. I encourage you to get out here for yourself because it's an amazing place. All right, let's get stuck into it. We got 12 things to go through. You're gonna wanna stay through all of them so you know what it's gonna be like to eat, work, sleep, play, and bring your kid to El Dorado County. Number one, this is an amazing place to raise a kid. They're able to be outside all the time. We're going to talk about that. The community is really kid focused and kid positive. It's a very safe place to live. It's a small town where everybody knows you and your kids and sees them. There's recognition when they're out and about. They're not a nameless, faceless child in the community. People know who that kid is and who they belong to. There's safety in that. And there's sort of group parenting in that. If people see your kid out of line running around town, they'll let you know, so you don't have to be the only set of eyes on them. There's great sports opportunities. It's just an incredible place to raise a child. Now look, if at the end of this video, like all of them, you're not sure still, and you have questions still, and you want to talk daycares, you want to talk schools, you want to talk parks, you want to talk arranging play dates in a rural area, man, there's nothing I love more than being a father. Yes, I'm a realtor. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a lot of things, but the most important thing I am is a husband and a father. So if you want to talk bringing your kids to El Dorado County, there's nothing I'm more passionate about. Reach out, send me an email, give me a call, and I'll answer all of your questions. All right, number two, you're going to be in the car a lot. It is an amazing place to raise a kid, but everything's far apart. Everybody lives far flung. There's only really one walkable community, and that's right in downtown Placerville. If you live anywhere else, you're going to be driving a lot. You got to drive them to school. You got to drive them back. There are buses depending on the school you go to. You got to drive them to soccer. You got to drive them back. You got to drive them to gymnastics. You got to drive them back. You got to drive them to see their friends. You got to drive them back. You got to be intentional about setting up play dates. So you're going to spend a lot of time in the car. Good news is, despite some real acute peak holiday related traffic times, you're really not going to deal with traffic here. So you'll be in the car a lot, but it won't be a frustrating time in the car. Now, any parent knows they spend a lot of time in the car anyway, but it's going to be a little bit more here in El Dorado County in the Placerville area. All right, number three, your kids are going to get to play outside a lot. That's what's best about El Dorado County. In fact, 75% of the landmass of our county is protected open space. There's no better place to raise a child outside than El Dorado County. We have got just endless amounts of hiking trails. We've got the river to go play at. We've got lakes to paddleboard and swim and powerboat and water ski, skiing and snowboarding and snowshoeing in the winter. There is just endless outdoor activities, and that includes all the bat and ball sports too. So if you're moving here with kids, they're gonna have just a really idyllic outdoor upbringing that is harder to pull off when you're living in the city or the suburbs. All right, number four, healthcare is impacted, especially our pediatricians. Look, Marshall Pediatrics are incredible. The doctors are next level. I love them. They've been taking care of my kids since they were seconds old. I wouldn't want to take them anywhere else, but that also means everybody else feels the same way, right? And so they're overrun with people who want their care because it's so good. Now they are consistently staffing up, hiring more doctors, hiring more staff, trying to meet the demand, but it's a rural place and those things go in sort of fits and starts. So you have to be a little patient, and if you're moving here, you're gonna wanna contact them right away and get your kid enrolled as a patient as soon as you can before it's move-in time, right? Before you need them, you're gonna wanna get yourself established as a patient there because they are a little impacted. Now, this is primarily a video for parents about moving their kids to El Dorado County, but I will say it's the same for the parental care for general practitioners up here. So do the same for yourself. Go out there, start early, get yourself enrolled as a patient with a good GP here so you're ready to go as soon as you hit the ground in El Dorado County. All right, number 5, all the schools are pretty darn great up here. So you can kind of go like, and take a little pressure off about picking a school. They're all pretty darn good. They all have really committed people. They all have really good test scores. They all have really strong outdoor programs. They all have really strong sports programs for kids. It's really, it's hard to pick a bad school up here. There aren't as many alternative schooling options. We'll talk about that later, but you're going to be pretty good no matter where you end up on schools. So it's really about going, spending some time at the schools, talking to the principals, and picking what feels best for your kid. But know that wherever you land, whatever school they end up in, all our schools are pretty darn good up here. All right, number 6, daycare is pretty impacted, just like the docks. We have actually a really wide array of daycare options, which is great. You know, we've got Montessori, we've got Waldorf, we've got regular ones, whatever you want. But they're all gonna have anywhere from a 3 to 6 month wait time. So that's another one of those things that as you're starting your looking for a home process, if you're 100% sure you're landing in El Dorado County and you're just waiting to find the right house, you're gonna wanna start right away getting your kid on the wait list for your daycare of choice right away so that you don't end up here starting your job and not have any place for your kid to go for another couple of months for daycare. That can be really stressful. So just make sure you start early on the daycare process. All right. Now, number 7, because people live far apart, I kind of alluded to this before, they're really excited to get the kids together. Everybody's far flung and dealing with their kids on their own, and they're really excited to get them out somewhere and get them playing with other kids. So it's actually really easy and quick to build a community. And as you know, as parents, you've got these tiny little community builders out there really doing the work for you when you move to a new place. But it's really easy to get networked in with other parents here because they're just happy to get their kids out of the house and off doing something with somebody else. All right. Number 8, you got to schedule it, like I said. So even though people really want to do it, you're just, you know, I grew up in a subdivision. I could just go out my door, go down the street, knock on a door, go play with a kid. It's not like that here in El Dorado County. I don't even have sidewalks in my neighborhood. Never mind other kids my kids can play with. So you got to be intentional. It's the play date thing. I've never liked the term play date. I don't know. Other parents, you can weigh in the comment section. When we were kids, you just played with people. You didn't make a date. But now, it's no joke. You got to make a date when you're living in a rural area to get out and be intentional to see people. Number 9, there's a large and active homeschool community here. So there are kind of limited alternative schooling options, but if you are part of the homeschool crowd, we are not. Our kids go to a public school. But if you are part of the homeschooling crowd, there is a really massive homeschooling community here. Different homeschool programs everywhere, pods everywhere, chances for your kids to go, pod up and have social interactions beyond the homeschooling portion. There's a ton of that open to. There's a really strong community here for that. So if you're into that, you're going to find your people really easily here in El Dorado County in the Placerville area. Number 10 is that there aren't a lot of alternative schooling options. If you're coming from a big city, Bay Area, LA, there's lots and lots of school of choice options where your kid can opt out of public school and go to private schools or charter schools. There's just a lot of options. There's not as much up here. We do have a strong Montessori presence, and our Montessori schools are awesome. We do have a small Waldorf presence, and we do have a really strong and good public school system. There's just not a ton of school of choice options up here in the foothills. Number 11, connecting young people to agriculture and to the food system. This is something we really love about living here. There's ag in the classroom, there's 4-H, There's lots of farm-to-table restaurants. There are farmers markets and farm stands. Our kids go on a weekly basis with my wife over to the farm stand and pick out the vegetables and talk to the people that grew them. And they're standing on the site where their food was grown. I don't know if that matters to you. I think that's pretty cool. My kids think it's pretty cool. It's a really strong, vibrant part of our community and our county is our agricultural roots, and it's still alive and well, which is such a really cool and fun thing, especially for your kids as they grow. All right, we're on to the last one. Number 12, there are just endless things to do with your kids here. It's amazing. Of course, we are where the gold rush started. We have Marshall Gold State Park. We have Gold Bug Park. We have all these parks where they can learn about the mining history and the history of California. Coloma, which is about a 10 to 15 minute drive from where I'm sitting, is literally the birthplace of California, right? Gold was discovered there January 21st, 1848. That is what launched California into statehood, right? That's what got the entire world to rush in the gold rush. So if you want to teach your kids history, this is an incredible place to do it. We already talked about the agriculture. It's an amazing place for agriculture. Getting outside, endless hiking trails, mountain biking trails, places to paddle. We just opened a new bike park that's really awesome in Placerville for the kids to go. And then down the hill, really close, you have all of that stuff that you typically don't have in a rural community, the kids' museums, the zoos, all of that stuff. So there's just endless things to do with your kids. Just running them down to the river to throw rocks in the river for 20 minutes after school is an awesome thing to do. If you're here as a parent, you are never, ever, ever wondering, what am I gonna do with these kids today? Which is what makes it such an awesome and ideal place to raise kids. All right, that wraps it up for today. Hopefully those 12 things help you parents decide if El Dorado County, Placerville, the greater Placerville area is a place that could work for your family. Now, if you have any more questions, like I said at the beginning of the video, I am very passionate about being a dad and about helping people relocate to El Dorado County. So feel free to reach out via email, via text, via call, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about getting here and being successful from day one on the ground with your kids in El Dorado County. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.